What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Monkeyflop here, and today I got your PlayStation 4 Flash News. Now, starting off, we got a lot to cover, but I wanted to start off with the PlayStation 5 because there is a dev kit that has appeared in the wild. Now, this was actually tweeted out by a known PlayStation insider. I'll put his hat in the video, and you guys can go and follow him if you like, but this dev kit was actually tweeted out by him, and he has been known to, crack the code a couple of times. And a lot of people are saying, you know what, this could just be a prototype for a dev kit. This could even be just something somebody created and sent to him. We are not entirely sure. I want to pass a question off to you. Does this image right here look plausible? Does it look real, or does it look like it could just be a prototype or something that somebody made up? I'd love to know your guys' thoughts on it in the comments section below. Nevertheless, I did want to share the image with you guys because I know a lot of people are kind of curious as to what the PlayStation 5 is going to look like. Of course, this is a dev kit, and it does look a little bit nicer than the PlayStation 4's dev kit, but nevertheless, the other day I shared with you guys the controller. And some people are like, Monkeyflop, that was actually confirmed to be fake. And we don't know at this point. We don't know if these are prototypes or, where he's actually getting his information from, or even the pictures. Nevertheless, a lot of people kind of looked at the PlayStation 5 dev kit and we're like kind of amazed by the fact that it has a disk drive. That's right, you guys heard me correctly. It has the disk drive. So at least with this, there is hope that there's going to be physical games coming out with the PlayStation 5. I'm pretty sure, Sony's going to want a leg up in the race, and including physical copies in the next generation of console is almost like a must, because there's so many other companies that have announced like streaming only consoles, download only consoles, where, I don't think Sony wants to like deep dive into that just yet. But if we look at the PlayStation 5 controller, a couple of things that we also notice is that there is a screen on the PlayStation 5 controller. And a lot of people are like, okay, cool, we're going to be able to see our home screen. But what a lot of people aren't realizing, like, if this is true, if this is real, then we could possibly have the ability to play PlayStation 5 games remote play right from the controller itself. Now, this is all speculation because we don't know where these images are coming from. And of course, if anything is confirmed or denied, then I'll be sure to let you guys know. As of right now, for the PlayStation 5 controller that we took a look at and is also featured in this picture as well, a lot of people are saying it's fake. So it's kind of hard to tell at this point, but nevertheless, where did this picture come from? I'm curious, and there are no answers as of yet. Next up, I actually wanted to talk about Driveclub. When was the last time we heard anything about Driveclub in the news? Well, they are actually going to cease selling Driveclub, Driveclub VR, Driveclub Bike as of August 2019. If you haven't picked it up yet, then you're gonna need to before August, because after that they have announced that the servers are actually going offline on March of 2020. So that's just a year away. They're going to be shutting down the servers, but going to give plenty of time to those people that have purchased it to be able to play it from August, from now, but when they stop selling it from August 2019 all the way to March 2020. Very interesting news, especially with the fact that, it was rumored to be a free game on the PlayStation Plus. PlayStation even advertised it being a free game on the PlayStation Plus, and then we just got like a little small version of it. And I wanted to pass the question off to you. If it was an actual like full game released right off the bat, available for PlayStation Plus, and not the little gimmick that they did where they only release a small portion of the game for free and you had to buy the whole thing, would it have been more successful, and would they have not had plans to already be shutting down the servers. Let me know. Next up, I actually wanted to talk about Call of Duty's new update that has some buffs with multiplayer. Now, when it comes to Call of Duty, to be completely honest with you, a lot of the community requests for, you know, weapon balances all the time. Sometimes they get what they don't even want. And with this new update, we are actually seeing buffs to the Rampart. Adjustment damages from 46 to 40. We're also seeing a high caliber 1-11 shot deal damage of 70 hits for parts of the body. And then we're going to also see a slight reduction with ADS in speed. And then the SOG 9mm slightly increased 6-shot range. The Daemon, which is a lot of people's favorites go-to gun in multiplayer. Iron sights are now properly centered, so that's pretty cool. They also have new updates for the score streaks and blackout and everything in between, but I mean, the most notable thing is that there's gonna be buffs to some of people's favorite games. I know a lot of people, when they play Call of Duty, you know, my friends go-to gun is a Rampart, and seeing that get buffed is really interesting. Guys, next up, I actually wanted to talk about Sega Genesis because they're getting a mini console in this year. The price point is going to be $80. It's going to be able to have 2 controllers hooked up with USB cables. It's going to be HDMI output with 720p, and that's very interesting. They didn't go with like the 1080 or higher, but nevertheless, the games that are going to be on the actual console, that's going to be it. They're going to feature 40 games, 40 classic Sega Genesis games. They're also going to have a Sega Mega Drive Mini as well that's going to release alongside of it. There's no word if we're going to be able to actually download the games or, you know, download more games to the system. Nevertheless, I actually wanted to take a look at my Sega Genesis console and collection. Now, these are some of the games that I've actually managed to keep throughout the years. I wanted to include the Sega Genesis alongside of the Super Nintendo Classic, the mini version, so that way you guys get a size comparison as to what we're kind of looking at for a Sega Genesis Mini. Now keep in mind, with the Sega Genesis Mini, you're not going to have the reset button, and most of the buttons are not going to be functionable other than the power button itself. And that's very interesting. You know, Sega has been known to like resell their games throughout the years and throughout console generations. Heck, I own a lot of Sega games on the PlayStation 3. And I even bought the Sega Genesis collection on the PlayStation 4 because there were some games that were included in that I didn't previously own. Nevertheless, like, Sega Genesis games are out there. It's no like hidden secret, and a lot of the games that are going to be included in the Sega Genesis Mini are already available on the market on multiple consoles. So it's going to be interesting to see, you know, how many people actually go and dive in and buy a Sega Genesis Mini. You know, considering the fact that we already have flashback systems, a lot of people forget, but if you go to your local game store, if you go to Target, Best Buy, Walmart, GameStop, heck, they do have these flashback systems where one of the flashback systems just has like 20 games booted up already inside of it, and then there's another Sega Genesis flashback system which does do HDMI output and has an actual you know, drive to be able to put your games in and play. With the flashback system, not all of the games are compatible, but nevertheless, a flashback system is about the same size as this, and it costs $80. But you know, you can play more games than what's already on it. So very interesting news, to say the least. But I'd love to know your guys' thoughts and opinions about that in the comment section below. Do you guys honestly think like Sega Mini is going to be a thing? Is it going to be popping? Is Sega Genesis Mini and Sega Genesis Mega Drive going to be a thing of the future, or is it going to completely flop like the PlayStation Classic? Because I'm like, I'm honestly being a little bit skeptical, and I don't think it will do that bad. But considering the fact that, like, if you go to most game stores, you'll be able to find the flashback systems with no problem. So, you know, that tells you a lot. They're not selling out. In fact, like when Toys R Us was closing down, they had these at a like really discounted price. Now, the one I'm showing off is a regular Sega Genesis. This is the actually like legit Sega Genesis that I've kept throughout the years. I love you. But do you guys own a Sega Genesis? Let me know in those comments down below. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I will see you guys in the next news update. You guys are freaking awesome.